Je vais parler français un petit peu parce que je l'ai appris à l'école en Suisse. Hey guys, it's Sabine from Wonderbene. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. As always, it's great to have you here on my channel. This is a very easygoing, quick video called 20 Random Facts About Me, and I got the idea for this through Suzanne Carvel's video. I will link her channel in the video description below. She didn't tag me for this, but it sounded like fun to do, so here are 20 random facts about me. Fact number 1. I am quite tall for a woman. I am 5 foot and 10 inches tall. And on the same in the same direction of things, fact number 2, I have very big feet. I wear a size 11.5 men's US size shoe. So if you ever want to send me sneakers, 11.5 men's, please. Fact number 3, I am left-handed. That's why I keep using my left hand for all the main gestures that I do. Fact number 4, I grew up in Switzerland in a small village just outside of Zurich called Unterrangstringe, and moved to the city of Zurich when I was 19 years old. As soon as I had my first job, I moved to Zurich on my own, and then I moved to Canada for a job when I was about 20 years old. Some of you might already know this because you know me or because we are friends on Facebook or something, but yeah, that's where I'm from originally, and that is why I have the accent that I have in my English. People usually pick up something, but can't quite place it. Fact number 5, my absolute favorite movie, and I'm gonna have to say movies, are Dirty Dancing, Moulin Rouge, and Zoolander. I love these 3. So if I would have a movie night, that's probably what I would watch. Fact number 6, as a kid, I was bullied, and I was the bully. And let me just say, I did not enjoy the second part of that statement. Being a bully is not fun. It doesn't give you anything. And I think if it does give you something, then there's something wrong. But I think having experienced both sides of it helped me become the person I am today, because I kind of got to understand the sense of power as a kid in elementary school. And that today as an adult makes me someone who's not very fond of politics in the sense of, like, you know, strategic behavior and stuff. I understand it and I can do it and I'm capable of it. Do I like it? No, I do not. Fact number 7. The thing I'm most afraid of is losing my loved ones and darkness. Like if it's pitch black, if say you drop me in a forest somewhere and it's pitch black, I wouldn't be comfortable whatsoever. So maybe one of these days I will overcome that fear, but yeah, those are the 2 things I'm most afraid of. Fact number 8. When I first moved to Canada, I had a British accent, and I would talk like this because I would watch EastEnders to learn how to do Cockney accent. And I'm sure every English person watching this will laugh at me because it's a complete mix-up of multiple English accents. But this is how I spoke when I first got to Vancouver, and people didn't know what to make of it because they couldn't place it. They weren't sure, is it Australian, South African, or whatever. But this is how I used to talk, because all the English I learned in Switzerland was from the Cambridge Institute, and it was all British English. So the Canadian English really only happened because I've been living here for so long, but the British English is still there. Fact number 9, and this is a subject that never comes up on my channel. I grew up Catholic with a father who claimed he was allergic to church dust and a mother who was sort of not very Catholic. But again, I think having my parents the way they are and having a grandmother who was very devout gave me both an appreciation and a more objective view of religion and a healthy view of religion per se. So today as an adult, I would consider myself spiritual but not religious per se. But I can definitely appreciate the sense of strength and support having faith can give someone. And on the flip side, I can understand someone who's who's not religious and who just wants hard facts, science, and doesn't want to just have faith in something. But I'm kind of in the middle between the two. So fact number 10. When I moved to Canada in 2003, I had never been to Canada before. The only thing I knew about Canada was the two guys that I met during my backpacking trip in Mexico. And I remember it was a guy by the name of Kelly. Yes, a guy with the first name Kelly, who was from Alberta, and he was a real-life cowboy. Like, he worked on one of the horse ranches in Alberta, or cattle ranch, I guess, and was telling us stories about riding through the forest and whatnot and across the fields. And that was something that actually helped me make the decision to go ahead and take this job here in Canada, because the two Canadian guys that I had met were really nice, and Canadians are generally very polite, very friendly, and yeah, so that's a bit of just a little piece of information. So I came here without ever having seen the country or the people other than on vacation somewhere. Fact number 11. My very first concert that I've ever gone to was David Hasselhoff in Zurich at the Hallenstadion, and for those of you guys who are not from Europe, David Hasselhoff was huge for Knight Rider in Switzerland and all over Europe, actually, Western Europe. And he was even bigger though for his musical career. And the song Looking for Freedom, I've Been Looking for Freedom, was actually sung by him at the Berlin Wall when the Berlin Wall fell. And it's still to this day, one of my favorite songs of his. And he was huge. He was massive as a singer in Switzerland. Fact number 12. One of my favorite places in the world is and has always been London, England. Before I had the choice to move to Canada, that was where I would have moved to. In fact, the year when I moved to Vancouver, BC, here in Canada, if this hadn't happened, if this job hadn't gone through, I would have quit my job, bought a ticket to England, and would have moved to London. So my life could have taken a very different turn if it wasn't for this one job here in Vancouver. That happened to work out. Fact number 13. And just a little piece of information here. I was told this the other day by my Canadian friends. This is weird here in North America. I grew up saying, when I wanted to symbolize number 3, this is how I do it. Whereas here I think you do it like this, which is very weird for me to do. But yeah, so fact number 13. The only reason I ended up meeting my husband was because I threw a housewarming party in the apartment building that I first lived in when I moved to Canada. And I invited my neighbors, who were complete strangers from my floor, and ended up meeting my husband through a friend of a neighbor's of mine. So had I never thrown that party, I would have never met my husband. Fact number 14. When I was must have been about 8 years ago, so in my mid-20s or so, I did a past life regression. And through that, I figured out that my husband and I are actually soulmates. And I do believe in that. So there's that. Another subject matter I don't really talk about on this channel. Fact number 15, I cut my own hair. I have been cutting my own hair for the last 5 or 6 years. At first, it was a matter of saving money because I was in debt for quite a bit of money, and I didn't want to spend the money on a hairdresser because, let's face it, as a woman, you can't get your hair cut and blown dry without spending 60 or 80 bucks at least. And if you add color to it, it's over 100 bucks, easy. And I'd rather buy a pair of sneakers with 100-something bucks. So I cut my own hair, and I think the last time I was at a hairdresser's was about a year ago, because I wanted some color, so I had blue highlights put in my hair. This is what that looked like. But yeah, I cut my own hair, and I can only recommend it, because especially when it's long like this, you don't really need someone else to cut it for you. Put it in a ponytail, take the scissors and snip away. So yeah, and plus I enjoy it. I enjoy cutting my own hair. So there's that. Random fact number 16. I have a firearms license. I'm legally allowed to own and use firearms in Canada. That's probably a random fact that you never would have thought of me, but there you go. Fact number 17. I was in New York 2 months after 9/11 happened when that plane went down in Far Rockaway, New Jersey. And at the time that was a decision to go there because there was a special on from Zurich to New York with American Airlines, and I paid $200 for that flight. It's a 6-hour plane ride, usually not $200 in price. And I didn't tell my family I was going. I was just gonna send them postcards and they'd be like, what? When were you in New York? But when that plane crash happened, everybody was freaking out because they couldn't get a hold of me, and then figured out through secondhand information that I was in New York, and I think I caused them a lot of gray hair. So, note to everybody, don't just go on a trip and then not say anything to your family. And it was one of the coolest trips ever. I did it on a complete shoestring, stayed at a youth hostel, and barely had enough money to even do that trip at the time because I wasn't making a lot of money at the time. But one of the best decisions of my life was to go to New York, and I actually got to experience snow in Central Park, and I had a blast while I was there. Random fact, 18. I think I'm at 18. When my husband and I were on our honeymoon in Hawaii, we got a Camaro as a rental car. They upgraded us for free because they were newlyweds and they were awesome about it. And when we stopped at a parking lot somewhere at a restaurant, I swung my door open and right into the Jaguar that was parked right next to us. It's a memory that we now laugh about, but at the time my heart dropped into my pants because I wasn't sure how the insurance would handle that. In the end, they handled it really well. We were insured for everything, and my klutziness was not penalized. But I sure didn't feel good. And the guy was not happy. Not happy at all. Random fact number 19. When I was, how old was I at that time? 19, 20 years old or so, I went on a backpacking trip to Mexico, starting in the very north at, what's the name of the place? Monterrey, Mexico, and traveled all the way down south through the whole country of Mexico, all the way to Cancun. And it's still to this day one of the best trips I've ever taken. And that's where I learned my Spanish. That's where I learned how to travel on your own and how awesome it can be. And I got to see a Mexico that probably a lot of people don't get to see if you go to an all-inclusive resort. And I went to see the pyramids they have down there, and it was amazing. It was a great trip. And funny enough, I don't know if I'd have the guts or bravery to do that again today as a 35-year-old, to be honest. So, yeah, but I traveled through Mexico by myself as a backpacker, and it was amazing. Random fact number 20. I speak a total of 4 languages. Je peux parler français un petit peu parce que je l'ai appris à l'école en Suisse. Y también puedo hablar en español. Y la otra lengua que hablo es Deutsch, meine Muttersprache. And last but not least, of course, I speak English. So this is something that's very common with Swiss people. Most Swiss people speak at least 2 languages, either two of the Swiss national languages or the Swiss language that they speak plus English. And in the last few years, English has replaced a lot of the other languages of Switzerland in the school system. So there's that. But yeah, I could survive in 4 different languages if I had to. And I can't wait to make another, like, for the 500 subscriber video. I can't wait to make another language video because that was so much fun to film. And yeah, well guys, that was it. 20 random facts about me. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, give it a thumbs up. It always means a lot to me. Leave a comment below if you have more things you want to know about me, or if any of this resonated with you or is relevant to you or similar to you. Please let me know. It's always nice to connect with people. That being said, I hope you have a fantastic week ahead of you, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.